Today let's talk about loss, and let's also talk about what comes after loss, which is grieving and having faith. And I'm bringing this up because I am actually experiencing this in my own life. And loss, as we all know, can come in so many different forms. Loss can come in the form of death, whether it's to a family member, a friend, or even a pet, and I've experienced all of those. It can also come in the form of changing careers or jobs. Also, I've experienced, and it can come in the form of relationships and losing or having a change in a relationship. Sometimes, yes, it can come in the form of a marriage ending or a relationship ending, but it can also be a loss in what definition of that relationship was and where it's going. And I think we can experience these on so many different levels, whether it's an intimate relationship, but also we can feel that loss from somebody that we've just grown accustomed to seeing every day or giving them that space in our life, and suddenly they're not there anymore, whether we controlled that situation or not. And of course, if it's out of our control, it's going to hurt just a little bit more. I think what I have been focusing on with my teachers has been that attachment and detachment is very much a part of life, and we will experience that. And when you lose that sense of reality of what once was your everyday or what you have grown so accustomed to, and suddenly that's gone, that detachment process, that loss process can feel very heavy. And while we're going through that, it seems as though everybody else might have it figured out, or maybe that we're a little harder on ourselves because we feel like we need to get on with our next chapter, or maybe we're reading an article on manifesting and we're thinking, I don't know what comes next. And I think that's why I wanted to bring focus to this, because I'm experiencing this myself. And sometimes you do feel like there's so much focus on the next chapter, but what if you're still trying to just make peace and accept that a life you knew or what you accepted as your reality, whatever you're letting go of, whatever that loss is, however you want to define it, is no longer there. And you just can't quite figure out where you're headed. And again, this can be anything you're going through, whether it has to do with a person, a relationship, a place, a job, but there is this in between. And I think that's where I want to just put the focus and put the energy on really at this point giving ourselves that self-care that we need, a little bit extra nurturing, that we don't have to rush it, that it's okay to feel like you're the only one not sure of where you're going. And that those moments are where we really have to have faith, and we have to have faith that it's going to be okay. And that if we can open our hearts, not question what comes next, and just know that we're going to get through this period, we can be at peace just a little bit. And so that's where I really want to put this intention on our meditation work, on our self-care work in the next segment. I feel like that's what I'm going through, and I really hope that if this is something you can relate to, that this helps you, just to talk about it, just to know that there is this middle ground. And I hope that the work we're going to do also helps you as much as it helps me. Thank you again. Let's move beyond loss with a practice that helps us accept where we are right now, gives our heart and our mind some extra nourishment and strength. And to do so, we're going to honor where we are. We are going to be honest with how we are physically feeling and how we are mentally feeling, instead of trying to move so quickly to the next stage that we haven't quite healed. And so to do that, I have brought in some extra tools. For me, I really do love energy work with gems and crystals. If you believe they're magical, you can believe they're magical. If anything, believe that they're a tool, and it's a tool that comes from a natural element from the earth. And they had very humble beginnings, like many of us. And so I find it's the perfect material to use. And what's even more interesting as you jump into crystal gems and healing is that they represent different energies. And so two of the classic favorites are amethyst and rose quartz. Amethyst is usually found here. It's a purple stone. And I love this one. This is our gua sha. We make it in a roller and a gua sha. But I love this because amethyst actually represents transformation, it represents protection, addiction release, and it's also a sleep aid. So I find just holding it, having the stone in my bedroom or a place where I want to calm down and just give me some extra support to transform. And that, in a sense, is what we're going through when we are going through loss, grieving, and having faith in the next step. It's a transformation. So I thought it was appropriate to use an amethyst. And I also, of course, who can resist rose quartz? And rose quartz is very much the rose crystal that represents love and self-healing, compassion, kindness, tenderness. These are things we need not only for ourselves, but in future relationships. And whoever, whatever we might be healing from, I do feel like it gives us that extra support we're all looking for. And I have a little gem here that I keep by my bedside, and I have a little platform here that I have my products on. And of course, I'm going to show you a little later, I have this lovely rose quartz gem mask, and this is the ultimate for self-love and self-care. And I actually even have some gems, some rose quartz in this candle. So we are all full of rose quartz today. A little bit of extra moisturizer. And I love also the aromatherapy that comes with oils. So this one I'm using a rose coconut oil. I'm just gonna dab it on my face, even my neck area. I can smell like a very light rose. And I'm going to use this gua sha, and I'm just going to push down on any areas that feel tense. I'm also going to glide it along my jawline, through my lymph nodes, all the way down my neck. You can continue to your shoulders, to your back area, and do the same on the other side. All the way down. Do a little bit on my neck area. And then I'm going to apply this rose petal serum. Again, dab it on the face. And apply the mask. Now from here, we're going to apply our rose quartz mask. Take your deep breaths, 3 to 5 breaths. And then make a connection to your physical and your mental. Think about how you feel and acknowledge it. Don't run from the space you are in right now. And give it a word. What do you feel? Right now, I feel heavy. I feel the loss that I'm going through sometimes feels that it consumes me. I feel tired. I feel physically tired, fatigued. I also feel tension. I feel tension in my body. And I accept these feelings and these sensations. Emotionally, I acknowledge that I feel sad, that I feel angry, and I also feel scared. I don't know what's coming next, and so I acknowledge these feelings. As we've learned in meditation, we accept what comes, we accept the noises, the situations, the sounds that we cannot control. It's okay to replay what's happened in your mind. If it's an incident, if it's a situation, if it's the feelings that you're going through. Acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge what you're going through. And lastly, I embrace the nurturing I'm giving myself right now. The quiet, the rest, even the gem crystals and the healing energy. I think about what they represent. How I use the gua sha, which represents transformation and protection. I think about the rose mask I have on my face and how rose quartz represents love, compassion, kindness. And stay here as long as you can. Just remember that rest and relaxation is the biggest part of healing. Thank you so much.